most people, if you could actually step back and look at what's happening there, would agree that before this war started, Iran was a powerful player in the Middle East, but certainly diminished in the way that the world saw it. Right now, there's what is the phrase? The cock of the walk, right? They have this impression that's been put out over the world that, look, not only are we the strongest power in the Middle East, it appears, but we are the only ones who were able to stand up to the United States military. They have been fairly undamaged by, they've been bombed and there have been people who have died, not to diminish that. But in terms of collapsing or crumbling, the way we saw Iraq, Syria, Yemen, Libya, any of those countries, and the way they were affected by even much smaller attacks by the United States, Iran looks like, as you said, an emerging world power that says, we're actually much more powerful than people thought. Maybe that's why they say, we are going to own the Strait of Hormuz. We're going to keep it, and we're going to charge moving forward. And there's really nothing anybody can do about it.
But that's right. We would have to go and literally take it physically. And Iran is going to, I believe, keep the Strait of Hormuz. And what their proposal is, just to be clear, is not that it goes back to an international waterway. That's what Secretary Rubio is complaining about. But they will charge $2 million per ship every time that passes through the Strait of Hormuz. That's over 100 ships a day. That's $200 million a day. We're talking about tens of billions of extra dollars in a year that's going to go to Iran over and above what it will make on selling its own oil on the market. So just think about that for a moment. So Iran is on the cusp of nuclear weapons before the war. Now it's still on the cusp of nuclear weapons, and now it controls the Strait of Hormuz, and now it's trying to parlay that into, let's just say, minimum $50 billion a year beyond the $50 billion would make in oil revenues. My goodness gracious, if you ever thought you were stopping the funding of terrorism, this is going completely in the opposite direction. And you'd say, well, we destroyed some of their missiles. Well, but they need their drones have turned out to be far more effective than these ballistic missiles, because the drones are basically impossible for us to get rid of, and without actual ground operations. And on top of that, it's what's enabling them to control the Strait of Hormuz, which is allowing them to control the world's oil and make money on 20% of that world's oil like never before. And who's being blamed by all this? America is being blamed. This is one of the biggest things that's happening in this crisis, is Iran didn't start it. America started it, and everybody knows it. It's a gigantic disaster. We all know it. And the problem is that we Americans are going to be blamed for all of this. Number two is going to be Israel. Or maybe people will blame Israel first. But it's Israel and the United States who are going to get all the blame. And that's what the Europeans are going to see. That's going to further redound to Iran's advantage.
It is fascinating to realize that the whole point of this was to remove the leadership, the regime. There's no regime change. We traded a Khamenei for a Khamenei, and yet at the same time, to your point, we are watching Iran become wealthier, more powerful, have greater reach in the region than they had before it started. So the goal...
greater reach beyond the region.
آنچه در مورد ما میگویند